at any time. He pauses, looks up from his notes, chin high with defiance. The cameras start crunching, as he knew they would. It follows that any vessel entering our territorial waters from the north, which has not been specifically cleared by the Indonesian Navy, has breached our borders illegally. This much you already know. He stops again, scans the press pack, knowing his eyes are filling screens across the nation. Behind him, the staffers are nodding furiously. I want to make this very clear. I will not have our personnel endangered by the reckless conduct of criminal people smugglers. So today, I am proud to announce a significant new border security measure ahead of next week's federal election. He waits just long enough, settles the cold breath in his lungs. From this point forward, no unidentified vessels in Australian territorial waters will be offered any form of maritime assistance. None. No contact will be made with these vessels on the open sea, either by the Border Integrity Unit or indeed the Navy. Any future incursions into territorial waters will be met with remote measures by our private sector partners, Core Resolve. I want to repeat that for absolute clarity. There will be no further boarding parties, no rescues. Advertisements will be placed on Indonesian television, in print media and online. It will be made absolutely clear that unauthorised boat journeys into Australian waters are the sole responsibility of those who organise them. He pauses weightily once more. The experienced correspondents brace themselves for a new campaign talking point. No Australian will be placed in danger. The brief silence that meets these last words is suddenly strafed by a volley of shouted questions. Yes, Daniel. What if the people on board are seeking asylum and mean us no harm? Recent experience has shown we can never make that assumption, but in any case, the question doesn't arise. Indonesian personnel will already have prevented their entry. Well, what if they're fishermen? The minister's face reveals the faintest trace of impatience. Indonesian personnel will have prevented their entry. His eyes shift right. The ABC. Yes? What exactly are remote measures? Obviously, I'm not at liberty to discuss the on-water methodologies that Core Resolve may choose to employ. That is a matter for them. Suffice to say, there will be no Australians placed in danger. A rush of questions begins and he raises his hand to silence them. Make no mistake. You are either on the side of these criminal gangs, cynical traffickers in human misery, or you are on our side. Some in the media already have hundreds of deaths at sea on their consciences. I won't allow them to add Australian citizens to that number. The shouted demands resume. One question cuts through the noise and heads turn. The questioner is a respected press gallery veteran. What about the caretaker conventions? She asks. It's highly unusual to announce a measure like this so close to an election. The caretaker conventions are exactly that, conventions born of easier times. Let me say again, I will take robust action to protect our borders whenever the need arises, during parliamentary sittings or otherwise, and to ensure that no Australians are placed in danger. That's what I was appointed to do. A purposeful nod. Now, if you'll excuse me. A shadow crosses the minister's face. He touches his temple gently. The young adviser appears again, a deferential hand not quite touching the flank of his suit jacket. The minister taps his notes into a neat pile and turns from the lectern. Thursday morning, Parliament House, Canberra. The Honourable Cassius Calvert, MP, Federal Minister for Border Integrity, swept past his executive assistant's desk. He was already through the door into his own office as he called to her. "Hey, Stell, did you watch?" Of course she'd watched. Stella never missed anything. Until he met her, Cassius had assumed that people who make a lot of noise are incapable of observing the world. But somehow she...